Sagittarius, and welcome to your mid-November reading. Happy birthday to all the Sagittarians who have their birthdays in November. We're moving into your season, and we're moving into your season with a very interesting new beginning on the past. So it's kind of interesting to have a new moon in your 12th house because it is a new way of looking at the past. It's a new way of moving forward. You know, new moons are all about setting new intentions. They are where we plant our seeds, because obviously the new moon is the dark, and as we know in terminology, everything begins in the dark. You know, the baby in the womb, the seed in the soil, and when the butterfly is in its cocoon. The new beginning. So this is kind of your moment before your butterfly moment. This is your cocoon moment. This is where you set a new intention on how you want to move forward from the past. It's very cathartic, I think. The 12th house is a place of endings, so to have a new beginning there is actually very, very healthy, because you can look at things differently going forward. You can look at things from a different, unique vantage point, and this is a beautiful one too, because this new moon is aspecting the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. So you actually have a lot in common with Scorpio at the moment, just because it's the meetup of your rulers. And so I don't know, maybe some people are having very interesting dynamics between the Scorpio-Sagittarian relationship. I don't know, but this new moon is blessed by Jupiter, and that means that the new beginnings that you're going through at the moment, Sagittarius, whether it is finally healing from something in the past and starting a new chapter based from it, whether it's starting a business based on your trauma, whether it is healing something in your past and it pushing you in a new direction, it almost makes you feel a little bit like an eclipse. And I suppose that's because for you, there is that eclipse coming up in Gemini, your 7th house. And then the next couple of years is going to be the main focus of Sagittarius Gemini energy. So this is kind of cool. What's going on in the stars at the moment. Mars is going direct in your 5th house of love, of creativity, of play. So this is a really beautiful energy for the remainder of the year for you in terms of play, in terms of having fun, finding joy, seeing the spark in life, looking at certain things through a child's eyes. In many ways, I think the 5th house is just so... it's kind of Hollywood. So to see the 5th house and the 12th house at play, I just kind of get this really beautiful, nostalgic dreamland. But of course, with that, all the Hollywood aspect of things comes with a lot of things behind the scenes that are painful. So I think this is your time to really find a new commitment to healing, to moving forward, to seeing the past in an old way. In a new way, to see the past in a new way, I mean. The Hanged Man and the 5 of Wands, limbo and competition. For a while you have felt very stuck and very stifled by potentially the competing interests in your life. Maybe more than one person needs your attention at the moment. Maybe you feel spread a bit thin. Or maybe this has been a moment for you to see challenging dynamics and friction from a different perspective, Sagittarius. And that's where your 12th house is. The 12th house new moon, I kind of think for some of you, it might be reconciliation. And I don't say that lightly because it's not my vibe in this channel, really. But for a lot of you, it can be reconciling an old relationship. 4 of Cups, yeah, something that went stale, something that was unhappy for a while, something that lost its luster, that could have been very much down to Mars. Maybe you had kind of... an emotionally stifling situation, maybe with an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, or you just put up a guard there. But something that went stale. It could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a dynamic of some sort, a hobby. I think for a lot of you, you're getting this beautiful burst of energy, burst of life into there, and all of a sudden you feel refreshed and you think, wait a minute, this has legs, this can work. And it can work better because you've had that Mars retrograde period. Now, please don't think I'm telling everybody to get back with an ex. I'm talking about, a relationship that maybe went a bit stale, not where there was a lot of pain or suffering or hurt, okay? So before you, assume that, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying maybe even a friendship that went a bit flat for a while. Is kind of what I'm seeing. So that's the astrology in the most part, but I will pull it into the cards. Okay, Sagittarius. 9 of Pentacles, gratitude. Knight of Pentacles, loyalty. 10 of Pentacles, luck is in your corner. 7 of Wands is a challenge, endurance, and the Magician. Ah! And underneath, 9 of Swords. Okay. And let's just clarify the Magician, the Moon, that full moon in Gemini, and the Hanged Man. Yeah, you're seeing things from a different perspective. I get it. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. 9 of Swords underneath. What are you anxious about? 8 of Swords, restriction. Of course you are. And the Tower. Yes, you do not do well when you're cooped up. You get very destructive. Okay, so we'll deal with that in a second. Whew. I love this. I think you can tell by all my hoots. I really like it. 10 of Pentacles is in your positive position. That's luck. That's flow. That's money. That is abundance. That is stability. It's long term. It's lovely. I feel like a lot of you could be getting. Okay, so let's see. What is this? It feels very Gemini eclipse. It's almost leaped straight to there from the Scorpio new moon instead. You know, this Magician energy. Mercury is in Scorpio. The Magician with the moon. The Magician is Gemini, actually. Gemini and then the moon, so the Gemini moon. It's going to change the way you see things. It's going to change the way you see your long-term commitments in particular. A lot of you are going to want to start to settle down. A lot of you are going to want to find a forever partner. A lot of you are going to want to find a partner in general. A lot of you are going to want to start a family. A lot of you are going to want to buy a home. A lot of you are going to want to do something big. Something big. And you know, it's cool. Because you're starting from a really good point. You're starting from a place of gratitude. You're feeling very happy with what you've got. And if you're not, you're moving into that space. I think the Scorpio new moon is that reset where you start to think, you know, looking at things from this perspective, looking at things through this vantage point where I thought, I really don't like how this is going, hasn't really helped. You know, I read this study about, it was a psychological study, but it was about, because it actually made me think of your sign, I have to say. It was about people that regard themselves as lucky versus people who do not regard themselves as lucky. You know, they see themselves as unlucky. So they were all studied and their perspectives were studied, but also they were put into similar situations. So a lucky person would be, a person who regarded themselves as lucky would had to go to a cafe. And outside that cafe, there was a £5 note on the ground. And inside the cafe was this really top businessman sitting at one of the tables. And the person who regarded themselves as lucky saw the £5 note and were like, oh, great, this is amazing. There was nobody else around outside. And then they went into the cafe and they struck up a conversation with the businessman. And he promised them, you know, he really liked their style. So he was set up. He was an actor, but he was you know, communicating to them about different opportunities and stuff, so they could have landed a job out of it. The person who regarded themselves as unlucky didn't even see the £5 note, and they didn't talk to anybody in the cafe, so they just had a really meh experience. I always think of Sagittarian people that I've witnessed that are able to strike up a conversation with anybody and who make connections, and they really, you know, luck just comes to them because they stay open to it, and because they see the opportunities, you know. I remember hearing a Sagittarian who had tried for this job they really wanted and they didn't get it. And a couple of months later, they were phoned up by the person, and the person that was by the job and the person that was meant to take the job hadn't taken it in the end. So they were next in line and they said, do you want it? So the Sagittarian was like, yes, of course. Whereas, you know, some people that would regard themselves as unlucky might think, oh, but they didn't want me to begin with, so why bother? Do you know what I mean? I sort of get this impression that your perspective on luck is really heightening. And I think it's Jupiter. And when Jupiter moves into Aquarius as well, it's going to be really beneficial for you in general. But what I'm seeing here with the 10 of Pentacles is that Jupiter leaving Capricorn, your second house, wants to give you a financial reward. So this is either a pay rise, this might be a lump sum of money, this might be a financial opportunity to make more money, this might be a bonus, this could be anything. But I'm seeing this really strong sense of money. And I'm thinking as well with that eclipse, In your partnership sector, this could represent a contract being signed that's very financially viable for you. But this is so linked to your perspective. So what I'm thinking with that, Sagittarius, is that I almost sense when December rolls around and we've Mercury and we've Venus in your sign and we have that solar eclipse in your sign, there's going to be big changes for you. You know, there's going to be big changes, especially if you're Sagittarius rising, of course. But I'm feeling them very linked to your financial well-being, and I'm guessing that's because your mindset, you know, because mindset is everything. With the manifestation card, you are manifesting something with this eclipse, but it requires you to see things from a different perspective. I also feel like you're manifesting something you've waited for quite a while, and I feel that you've been very anxious about this. And it's almost like when your perspective shifts, everything changes. So with the Seven of Wands, I think there's been some aggressive energies towards you. You know, there's been, I guess, with Mars in the 5th being retrograde and then the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in your money sector. Oh, there it is. Yes, okay. 10 of Pentacles, Jupiter-Pluto in your money sector. I get it. So, Seven of Wands, I feel that there's been some kind of aggressive energy towards you. There's been challenges. There's been conflict maybe. There has been defensiveness from people. There's been a bit of anger. There's been a bit of hostility. There's been a need for you to defend yourself or stick up for yourself in a work situation. Just know that all this aggression is subsiding. But on the 13th, if you could avoid any kind of conflict, that would be great, especially with a lover. And if you have a child, particularly a young child, try to be patient with them. They might act up on this day quite a bit with you. And just to be patient with them is one thing that I'm hearing. Maybe call in grandparents or your elders with this 10 of Pentacles because they can really help you out. So I love this manifestation energy. You know, there's this expression, well, not an expression, it's a quote by Edgar Allan Poe that I just live by, and it says, "The moon never beams without bringing me dreams." And I feel that when there's a full moon, especially because there's an eclipse coming up opposite you, I feel that there's an opportunity to see things from that opposite perspective, you know, to see things from a completely different perspective, that Gemini energy. And, you know, how do Geminis look at things? Well, with a full moon, when they're emotional, they probably communicate a lot more. And I think that your communication with the Magician card is what is landing you something quite spectacular. So don't shut yourself off. I get the impression with the Knight of Pentacles, you're really ready to commit to something. You're ready to be loyal to something. You're ready to start something. I think maybe the time this year, the restrictions and the lonelier energy for many people has maybe made you realize the importance of a connection. You know, and that doesn't even have to be love. I'm talking about friendship. I'm talking about your relationship with your kids or your parents and stuff like that. It's all very important here. And so I think that reset with Mars going direct is an opportunity with the Magician and the Moon to manifest something very different for yourself. And I do feel with that Knight of Wands, the Hanged Man, there is an opportunity to manifest healing with somebody else. Let's see, clarify that a bit further. Yeah, the Five of Wands, seeing things very differently in a challenge, the Fool, and having a new beginning. So yeah, some of you are reconciling with a friend or a colleague, or, you know, making up with somebody, or starting a new chapter with somebody, or you're ready to dive into something and you're not writing yourself out of the competition anymore. You know, you're not writing yourself out of the opportunities or the options. Two of Pentacles. Queen of Wands, there's you. Yep, that's you with more options, more. You have more coming to you than you realize, I think. More than you see. And if you're dealing with a fire sign that you're trying to make your mind up about, it looks like there's a new beginning there too. An Aries, a Leo, a fellow Sagittarius. If there's a Gemini, there will be an interesting twist where you see things from their perspective, where they tell you something and you think, oh wow, I didn't get that. I didn't see it that way. I'm glad I see it that way now. Thank you for explaining that to me. Maybe an earth sign as well. But the Magician and the Moon, that's a wishing moon. So what is it you're wishing for? We'll have a little look in the extended, but first I'm going to draw you a guidance card because I don't want to leave you without an oracle. Sagittarius. Lakshmi, bright future. Stop worrying, everything is going to be fine. Now, interestingly, my birthday is on the 14th of November, and someone pointed out to me that that is the day of Lakshmi, and that's to do with financial abundance and wealth. So the 10 of Pentacles here. In fact, you know what? It was a Sagittarius that pointed that out to me. So hello, if you're watching this, hi. Isn't that amazing? Bright future, especially financially. I believe it's Diwali, the day is called. The Festival of Lights, I think. Keep me in check in the comments on that one though. But beautiful. Oh, this is one of my favorite cards. Stop worrying, everything is going to be fine. And we had the anxiety card underneath, didn't we? Yes, anxiety. Stop worrying, everything is going to be fine. Can't wait to do your extended Sagittarius. It's linked below. And if you're not joining me there, I will see you in the full moon in Gemini eclipse special. We're going to really look into your sign and Gemini for that. So I'll talk to you then. Bye, Sagittarius.